The cultural environment of each country in our region maintains many similarities, but also several differences. For example, Greece, Italy, and Spain tend to be driven by personal relationships and business. Meals and drinks are often spent learning one's background rather than making deals or other business interactions. French culture, on the other hand, wants to focus on business and business only. To learn one's background can be received as an invasion and even rude. First impressions are critical in each culture, but in different ways. France and Italy highly value dress and presentation. One is often judged on appearance, and a high formality is expected in any business situation. Greece and Spain value good conversation, courtesy, and honesty. This may be a result of these countries' experience dealing with issues like economic crisis, challenges with the economy, or different levels of isolation from other countries. These countries in general tend to be more direct with feedback and criticism. In the US, we tend to soften the blow, if you will, and refrain from being direct out of courtesy of the receiver. Moving towards the home life of these cultures, we see that Christianity is prominent in each country, albeit different orthodoxies. Ranging from 65% in France all the way up to 98% in Greece, we see Christianity taking a large role in many people in these cultures. Languages typically reflect the home country as the prominent ones spoken. English is common throughout each of these countries, and that is partly due to the tourism and influence from the UK or the US. French, however, is the outlier. French has a lot of nationalism. They tend to have a higher expectation compared to the other countries of outsiders knowing the basics of their language. Le métissage culturel is similar to the melting pot idea in US. It's really a feeling of French pride, understanding that there are many people that are coming to France to learn French, to learn the French customs.
It's a typical day in Belleville. The people living here come from all over the world, from North Africa and China in particular. Belleville is well known for people from many cultures coexisting in harmony. A multicultural mix of people come to the Nani Jewish bakery to buy their pastries.
I'm a Muslim. This is my friend Jacob. He's Jewish. There are no problems between us. We live perfectly well together in France.
But despite appearances, East Asian immigrants are regarded as outsiders.
We don't understand their language. It's difficult to work with the Chinese. They work night and day. We could never work night and day.
A few steps away is Kok Ming, one of the oldest Chinese restaurants in the area. Its manager, Ngo Cheng, came to Belleville as a child. He feels at home here.
As an American, we might notice a vastly different style of time management in these countries, well, with the exception of France. The M time, or monochronic time, in France is very similar to the US. Deadlines are firm and adhered to. We are widely goal-oriented and driven. On the other hand, Greece, Italy, and Spain are grouped into what is called P time, or polychronic time. This means that their culture is less concerned about one specific goal, but rather working with multiple objectives simultaneously. This results in less stringency on specific objectives and less goal orientation. We can see this with the aforementioned idea of Greece, Italy, and Spain building relationships with business interactions, while French get right down to business in any interaction.
Like the United States, the president's position in these countries is mostly ceremonial. Italy and Greece both are republics based on a parliamentary democracy. In Italy, the prime minister implements laws and handles the everyday business of the country. The Parliament has legislative powers. It is composed of a Senate and a Chamber of Deputies who both have equal authority. The recent general election in Italy resulted in a hung parliament where voters decided to move away from their two-party system that Italy has held for the last 25 years. Greece is considered to have a consistent and stable political system within the European Union. The president is the head of state. He or she is elected by the parliament for a 5-year term. Their term can be renewed one time only. The president has no actual duties, and as I said before, the position is mostly ceremonial. The Prime Minister in Greece and the Council of Ministers hold the executive power, and they plan public policy for the state. Spain is a constitutional monarchy based on a parliamentary democracy. The king is the head of state and legislative power residing in Spanish Parliament, which monitors the executive branch. Spain is currently recovering from political instability. In doing business with Italy, there are strict protections for intellectual property rights. International businesses have access to these protections, but they must file an application with the Italian Patent Office of the Ministry for Economic Development. The President of France is currently trying to make it easier for countries to do business in France. They are known for having one of the highest corporate tax rates and for having complex safety standards, which can make it difficult to market certain products. U.S. companies are advised to learn all about the standards that apply to their products and make sure that they have completed timely testing and certification processes. Certain products may require special licensing or may be restricted altogether. Other complications of operating business in France include getting electricity, getting internet, and getting a bank account. All can prove to be challenging processes. Getting electricity alone requires 5 procedures and takes around 70 days. Getting internet for a business can take 2 months. In order to do business in Spain, other countries must go through 10 procedures, which can be very daunting. Building in Spain can also be a long process. The construction permit alone takes 182 days to get. The main issue of doing business in Greece is that there is a lot of corruption and bribery that can impact U.S. companies. It is recommended that U.S. companies develop a compliance strategy to identify risks, create a plan, and monitor for change. They should also implement a reporting hotline. They should be also conducting research on the contacts between their business and the government to make sure that they are reputable and trustworthy.